This is Dan and Andy. They're best friends and the founders of Hudson Daniel Gourmet. And they're on a journey to find the best makers of craft food and beverage products the world has to offer. This is Meet Your Maker. Season 1, California Road Trip.
Dan and Andy leave Paso Robles and roll into sunny Los Angeles, California, land of beaches, Hollywood, and an always evolving food scene.
Today they're meeting Jan and Chris from Just Jan Spreads at the Santa Monica Pier. Not to be confused with jam, these fruit spreads are so much more. Wait a second. Why am I the one reading the voiceovers today? Oh, because the stars of the show are too busy having fun on the pier.
Why are you looking at the camera?
I'm not. I'm looking up there.
It's pretty.
Oh my. Look at these two.
Are we for real right now, guys? We couldn't get them their own individual cotton candies? They have to share?
Oh. Oh, wow.
Hey guys.
Hey, good to finally meet you.
Andy.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Chris.
Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
So we're here at the beautiful Santa Monica Pier. Tell us a little bit why LA, is such a special place for you and what it really means for your company.
It's home. So I think because a lot of my products actually stem from my childhood and living in LA. I want to date myself, but back in the old days when there were a lot more orchards around, my mom and dad had a Meyer lemon tree, a tangerine tree, so lemon curd, the tangerine marmalade. It all kind of stems from my childhood and growing up here in LA. And figs are a California, mostly California fruit. So I think a lot of it has to do with my childhood, whether I thought about it that time or not. It just sort of filtered its way into my food.
That's very cool.
I think it also speaks to just the nature of California itself, where there's all these natural resources we have from a variety of produce and vegetables and things we can get, but also just the healthful nature of the people.
Yeah.
People want to be active, so they want to watch what they eat, and I think our product kind of speaks to that in its own way, based on how it's made, the clean label, the ingredients, less sugar, all these things that just intrinsically Jan is doing are what California is already about.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just wrapped in the ethos of the brand.
Yeah, so living in other parts of the country, as we have, natural products are things that are limiting your amount of ingredients, or things that are just simple 5, 6, 10, even 10 ingredients.
Based on the season,
it's very, very hard to find
yeah.
in other parts of the country. So it's kind of nice to find products that
Have four.
Have four.
Four, yeah.
Yeah.
4 ingredients.
Which is very cool.
Most of the time.
And that was Jan's idea the whole time.
We'd love to see your kitchen. We'd love to
Yes.
see where it all started.
Please. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll give you some samples.
Could we join you there?
Let's go.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's do it.
cool.
Okay.
Let's
Great.
go.
We set out to see where these incredible spreads got their start, but not before checking out some of LA's vibrant sights. We arrived at the place that started it all to find Chris and Jan already there and ready to dig right in. How did you start this business?
Okay, so, what I'm making today is the fig, which is where it all started. I had a tree in my backyard, and it was just growing tons of figs, and I thought, I'm either gonna eat them all and gain 25,000 pounds, or I'm gonna make something out of it. So I decided to make fig spread, or at the time I thought it was fig jam. So I made it for family and friends for years, actually, and then I, by accident, met somebody in the food business at the local Starbucks. I was giving my jar to a friend of mine, and he said, well, have you ever met this guy in the food business? And I said, no. So he said, why don't you try it? So he did, and the long story short is he said, would you ever consider doing this for a living? Because I like yours better than what's on the market. And I said, yes. And here we are 6 years later, almost
Wow.
6 years
Fantastic.
later.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been crazy. So
So you just said something. You said a jam versus a spread. So
Spread,
what's
yeah.
the difference? I'm just curious.
So I don't use as much sugar as is needed is needed to call it a jam. So jams and jellies have a certain amount of sugar in it, and spreads have a lot less. So I just didn't like the actual sugar flavor, and the fruit's sweet enough. So we use
Well,
just
what's
less.
beautiful about that is most people are looking to get away from sugar nowadays. So it's a great way to enjoy it, something that you really love, but yet not have to get all that extra sugar. This is one of my favorite fruits, so I'm excited.
Mine too. Cool.
That was outstanding. What's nice about it is a lot of flavored spreads, fruit spreads, the flavor changes. You're tasting whether it's raspberry, it doesn't taste like raspberry. This tastes like you're eating a fig.
If I had some brie, oh, I'd be in heaven right now.
I happen to
perfect.
have some.
Okay.
So we can pull
There we
that out
go.
later.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Delicious, yeah.
Yeah, thank
it tastes
you.
fantastic.
So I could never make that. Just be eating the whole bowl.
Yeah.
One sitting.
Yeah, forget the brie.
I know, right?
Just eat it out of the. So I like to do that. I also pair it with cheese. Again, that was kind of the first thing I did with it. And then I make salad dressings, homemade salad dressings, which hopefully will be in the line at some point. But I use that all the time in a salad dressing. It's great with almond butter. I mean, it's good on a sandwich. In fact,
I was
we're
gonna say
going.
spread it on a sandwich. I would
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
So today, when we go to Gina's, we're going to be watching her, or she's going to be having it. They have it on their sandwich called Ellen Special. So
Oh,
they
very
order
nice.
it by the big jar to put it in
Excellent.
there. So it's
Look forward to it.
We left Jan's and headed over to Blue Table, an upscale wine bar and eatery in Agora Hills that happens to feature Just Jan's on a few of their menu items.
There we met with Gina Marchioni, Blue Table's owner and creator, who showed us how she crafted her signature Ellen Special, a sandwich we're still craving to this day. You guys use Just Jan's here.
Yeah, we've been using it for about the last 10 years in our signature sandwich called the Ellen Special. I'll show you what it's all about. We got the fresh fig jam from Just Jan's.
We just tried this today and it was amazing.
So good,
So good.
so good. We make fresh roasted garlic aioli here. And then we have imported goat cheese from France.
You could stop right there and I would eat that on its own.
And we actually have, it's not just ham, it's imported ham from France, and it's called ham de Paris, fresh sliced turkey. So there's our sandwich, and then we're putting it in the panini press.
Let's dig in.
okay. Good, good.
Let's try this. So Gina described this as a perfect balance of savory and sweet, and it really, really is. The sauce mixed with your fig jam, this is just fantastic.
This is exceptional.
Yeah, it's got layers to it, and you can kind of sort of taste through those layers. I love this.
Get the tart of the cheese.
Creamy.
So guys, tell me about Blue Table. You have a relationship with this great local place. How did it happen? How'd you get here?
So, not unlike how I met Chris, which is to just hand out my samples and try and find people who would taste it and give me their feedback. I met Gina was a local restaurant just in my neighborhood, and I knew her from going into it. And I asked her one day, I said, I make this fig spread, and I'm trying to develop a line, and I'd be curious if you would try it for me and let me know what you think. And she loved it. And it kind of went from there. She said, okay, when you're ready to go, bring it in. So she was one of the very first people who gave us the thumbs up.
What I love about that is I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so you were hustling. You were literally giving the spread to anyone.
I'm still doing that.
Yeah, you must still be doing that.
Yeah.
But Just Jan's.
Yes.
Just Jan. Where does that name come from? So I mean, is
Okay.
it because it's just you? Like this?
No, I want to say there's no ego with me going, okay, I'm going to name this company after me because it's just mine. And I honestly can't remember how it formed in my head to name it that. I had some people saying, why do you call it Jan's Jam? And I said, well, what if I don't make a jam? And it turns out I don't. And I didn't know that. I mean, what did I know? Anyway, so I somehow, as I was tweaking, I designed all my packaging. I designed my label and everything. So I kind of was playing with the art and like, what am I going to call it? Anyway, I named it Just Jan's, and then I told my mom, who was still alive at the time, I said, I've been telling her what I was up to, and I said, I think I've come up with a name. It's going to be Just Jan's. And she said, wow. She said, I don't know if I ever told you this story. So she said, when I was pregnant with you, and she was 7 months pregnant when my dad passed away, had a heart attack. And she said, your dad said, I know you're gonna have a little girl, and I want you to name her just Jan. Not Janice, this is gonna make me choke up. Not Janine, not short for anything, I just want it to be just Jan's. And so she said, that's the perfect name. And it will never change now. So that, there must have been like a piece of that somewhere, I feel like. I feel like maybe she told me that a long time ago. I don't know, but that's it.
That's really powerful.
It's what's interesting about your company is that there were some accidents that took place.
So many
to
accidents.
get you from, well, sure, to
Yeah.
get you from like I've got extra figs to where you are today.
Yeah.
But then there were so many things that were almost serendipitous, from
Yeah.
the name to the connection to your partner. To there's just
Right.
so many really cool sort of the universe had aligned up and said
Yeah.
this is what needs to happen. So. I think it's pretty awesome. I think there's nothing better than, I mean, there's pure entrepreneurial spirit, obviously, in that, but you haven't been afraid to try things. You've just kind of dived right in, and you're not afraid to make mistakes, and that is really, really cool about your brand. So we love it. Jan and Chris, thank you so much. This is actually part of a longer journey for us. We're taking a trip down California, meeting with a bunch of amazing makers. What was really cool today for me was actually being in your kitchen where it all started and just kind of seeing the start of something amazing. And so thank you for having us. It's been really a treat.
You guys have been great.
And for me, it was just great to try everything. I can't wait to get home, try it, put on sandwiches, force all my friends and family to try it. Go out to every specialty deli I know and tell them they need to get this in their stores. And also I'm probably just gonna go home in my kitchen and honestly just lick it right from the jar. So yeah, I love it.
And I know him, that's probably gonna happen.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. It's been a great day.
Appreciate it.
A day with Jan and Chris can only be described as a treat. They were both so warm and inviting, and Jan's spreads were simply outstanding. We can't wait to return to LA and spend some more time with them and see what else they have in store.
We capped out the night checking out more LA sites, having a tasty meal with our crew, and a nightcap to end the perfect day.
Thank you for watching another episode of Meet Your Maker. Stick around after the credits for a bonus scene. And while you're here, maybe you could tell me, what's the weirdest thing you've ever put fruit spread on?